top 5 supports. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. We haven't done one of these babies since, when's the last time we did? In June of 2019, so it's been quite a bit. And with that list, we actually are gonna have pretty much the same thing, I wanna say. Supports don't really change too much, because they're not like damage dealers, right? Damage dealers get changed out like the seasons, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be doing something a little bit different. I'm gonna try to incorporate as many Grand Summoner supports as I can into this, in the honorable mention list at least, because most of the supports in the game are tied behind crossovers, and a lot of you guys are starting now. You guys started like a month ago. Whatever the case may have been, whenever you started, you may not have been able to get some of the most top tier supports that are currently in the game. But real quick, if you guys do find this video informative or helpful, entertaining, whatever the case may be, whatever tickles your fancy, make sure to hit a like on the video. And if you're brand new to the channel or you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend that you guys subscribe. But now let's talk about it. Honorable mentions coming up. We had her on the last honorable mention list. We're gonna put her into this one, and that is our girl Sunji. Sunji is a phenomenal support unit. She's been around since the 1-year anniversary, and she's been holding her own ever since then. She's able to increase your art gauge. With her normal art, she is type B if I'm not mistaken, so don't use her alongside other type B units. If you don't know about art gen types, of course, as always, card popping up on screen right now. She's also able to give you art damage buffs. I think she's one of the only units in the entire game that can actually give arts damage buff. It's her and another unit that we'll actually be talking about on this list that can do it. Yeah, she gives you 30% art damage buff, and if you are an earth or light unit, you get an extra 30%. So she also gives all allies critical damage up and accuracy rate up by 30% as well. So very good supporting character. Really good whenever you need to counter a boss with evasion. Really good for some nuke compositions, because of course you're going to be using crit chance if you're nuking majority of the time. So Sunji definitely deserves to be on this honorable mention spot, and for some people it may even be higher depending on what you're actually talking about. Moving on to the next one, that is also going to be an honorable mention on this list. It's going to be our boy Dark. It's going to be here because Dark Kane's kind of similar to Sunji to an extent. He gives art gauge to his team. He's able to support mono dark allies extremely well, and he's also able to give yourself accuracy. So if you need an accuracy buffing supporter, Dark Finn is your guy. I hope I haven't said Dark Kane. If I said Dark Kane, then my bad, I meant Dark Finn. He's type A, so he will not stack with his counterpart, which is Earth Finn, but still this guy is amazing. Recommend you use him if you're using mono dark, or if you need accuracy, the man is your go-to. And then finally, our last honorable mention, and I actually think he could possibly even be in your top 5, like number 5 or even 4, is gonna be Earth Finn. Earth Finn is one of the best units in this entire game. He has withstood the test of time. He's still an amazing supporter. He's been here since pretty much the beginning. He will support your team a ton. If you're brand new to the game, he's one of the units that I highly recommend that you select from your unit of choice ticket. But of course, I will say, if you are selecting them and you already have Dark Finn, I wouldn't recommend it, because Dark Finn and Earth Finn do not stack. Now moving on to our actual top 5 supports. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. Let's get to it. Coming at the number 5 spot is going to be Priestess. Priestess falling substantially down because she has not received a buff since her release. I don't think she has, at least. And I think overall she just doesn't do a lot. I mean, she does do a decent amount for your team. She's able to give you art gauge. She's able to give you a barrier, which is very good. Her slots are kind of okay, not the greatest. And as a support unit, she's actually pretty okay. I do prefer others over her, but the reason why we put her in number 5 and not actually in honorable mentions is because at least she can offer you that barrier. And if you've been playing since the Goblin Slayer collab, she's still a phenomenal unit. She's not a bad support unit at all. She's also offering you a blind as well, so that could come in handy. Last time we did this, I think I put her at number 1 or number 2, and now she's number 5. So there's a lot of reasons to it. The main ones being that other units just got buffed and newer units just came out. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Rimuru. Now, the reason why I put Rimuru here is because the man is still really good. He's still very solid. His Archgen type, I think, is EX, if I'm not mistaken. The man kind of got knocked down a little bit because of some other units getting buffed. He still is really good. If you need a cleanser, he's able to cleanse your whole team. He's able to give you status resistance. I can see some people putting Rimuru at number 5 and actually putting Priestess at number 4 just because Priestess gives you a barrier. But in my personal opinion, I think Rimuru having the cleanse is a little bit better in my opinion, just because some people already have taunting tanks and you just need a cleanser to help your taunt tank not take tons and tons of damage because they're getting afflicted by all the status elements. And Rimuru can be your guy for that. Now here we go, boys. Moving on to our top 3. Now, of course, every time we mention it, every time I get here, let me just say, all these units are fantastic. All of them are top tier. And if you have any one of these, consider your account a very strong account, because these guys, ooh, ooh Lord, they just do everything for you. So coming in at the number 3 spot, we're gonna have none other than our newest girl, Lisa. And she is amazing. Now, Lisa is able to generate your art gauge. You're able to get 4 art gauge per second for 10 seconds, which is insane with her normal art. She's able to reduce the enemy's magic resist. And she's also able to give everybody reduced equipment CT. And she's also gonna be reducing the enemy's light and magic resist at the same time, so increasing your party's damage, making your equipment have more uptime. And she's a cross the blaze unit, so if you want to, you can of course use that juicy cross arts attack. She has probably one of the coolest abilities in the entire game, which is revolving around her majesty stacks. Every time you use a piece of equipment, you get a stack of majesty on it. Every single stack of majesty equals 5% of the equipment CT. You can stack this up to 6 stacks on every piece of equipment on her. Once it's 6 stacks, if you use that equipment, she's going to be recovering up to 30% of the equipment CT instantaneously. I really wish I would have gotten her if she came around, but hey man, I'm holding out for that legendary CTV banner coming out later on, and hopefully I'll get her then. Now our number 2 and number 1. I don't think these guys will surprise anybody whenever I say who they are. You guys see them in so many videos on YouTube and so many guides for other in-game content stuff. They were even in my tier list. They were in that in-game champ tier. And coming at the number 2 spot is none other than our girl Usurpa. Usurpa has made her return, and in a very good way. Usurpa recently got buffed on global, and I'm pretty sure also on JP as well. They gave her a 5-star defense slot now instead of a 4-star defense, so that just opens up tons of options. She's now able to give everybody 25 arts, 25% HP, and 100% defense up with the normal art. Her true art is still able to increase all ally skill CT recovery by 120%, and you get equipment CT and break power by 30% as well. She is pretty much the defensive goddess. If you need to be defensive, if you want a very defensive support with some really good healing options, and also bringing other stuff to your team like equipment CT, break power, all that good stuff, Usurpa is your girl. That 5-star defense really opened up a lot for her in my opinion, allowing her to use so many different good 5-star defense items that makes that damage mitigation go through the roof, baby. Insane unit, the defensive goddess. I don't think there's a better defensive support in the entire game. Her buff changed her. She is extremely strong, extremely top tier, and one of the most broken units I think GS has ever released support wise. And then last but not least, man, does this surprise anybody? Does this surprise anyone that she is here? It is our girl, Mako. Mako is back. She also got buffed with the return of Kill la Kill that happened a while ago. And they buffed her and they just gave her more stuff. Mako didn't even need a buff. It was just people wanted her to return so more people could get her. And they buffed. Why? Because the balance team at GS doesn't know what they're doing. If you don't know what this girl's doing, she's doing so much for herself. First off, she's able to reduce her equipment CT by 10% just by default. It's one of her passives. She's also increasing her own heal amount. So any type of healing that she deals out will just get increased automatically. And she's also going to be taking less damage from any type of physical damage that may hit her in the game. Mako is able to reduce the enemy's damage resistance by 30%, which is a multiplicative debuff, meaning that your damage is going to literally skyrocket. So to reduce the enemy's action speed, so they're going to be slowed. And her true art is where everything comes together. She's able to increase all of her allies' art gauge by 4, heal everybody by 350, and increase all allies arts damage by 80%. And this is just absolute insanity. If you have Mako, consider yourself one of the lucky few, because this girl, I don't think she will ever come back in Grand Summoners. She's already came back 4 times, I think, or 3 times. I highly doubt they're gonna rerun her again. Hell, at this point, I think they're better off just power creeping her, or just releasing another unit that's a Grand Summoner specific unit that is as strong as her, or a little bit weaker, just so people have access to something like this. Because, oh man, let me tell you, if you've ever used Mako, if you ever had a friend have Mako and you did multiplayer, let me tell you, it's a world of difference, especially if your Mako is very well geared. It's insane what this support character can do for a team and what she can do to transform that team and make it insanely broken. But guys, that is my top 5 supports. Tell me down below if you feel like somebody should have been on here that wasn't on here. Tell me if you think any of these units are going to be dropping down from the top 5 within the next 6 months to a year. Personally, I haven't seen too many crazy support units come out of JP recently, so I think they're going to be fine. Even the new crossover coming out soon, there's no support units in it really. I think we're going to be good. But hey man, it's been your boy OP. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Love you guys. You guys been killing the support on the channel recently. Been going crazy. Been posting every single day pretty much, and I cannot thank you guys enough for everything y'all have been doing. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more. And last but not least, man, don't forget to drink water.